Hey guys, it's Marky and welcome back to my channel. And so yes, welcome to another episode of the Senior High School Subject Series na ginagawa ko dito sa aking channel na kung saan sinishare ko sa inyo kung ano ba yung pinag-uusapan sa isang specific subject ng senior high school at kung saan sinishare ko din kung ano ba yung kailangan gawin ng isang senior high school student tulad mo o yung kailangan mong i-achieve sa isang specific subject para maipasa mo ito. If you're new here and if this is the first video you're watching from my channel, I suggest you subscribe para updated ka sa mga bagong educational videos na i-upload ko dito sa aking channel tulad nito. And guys, for this video, we are going to talk about the ABM lessons for the ABM specialized subject, Business Math. So by the way guys, ang Business Math ay isa lamang sa specialized subjects ng ABM Strand ng senior high school. So this is ABM lessons for Business Math. So our subject for today is of course Business Math. Now this course will provide an understanding of the basic concepts of mathematics as applied in business. It includes a review of the fundamental mathematical operations using decimals, fractions, percent, ratio and proportion, mathematics concepts and skills in buying and selling, computing gross and net earnings, overtime and business data presentation, analysis, and interpretation. So ganun pa rin, for this video, I'm going to share the content or the topic or lessons na pinag-uusapan sa Business Math. Tapos yung competency naman is yung kailangan mong gawin or yung kailangan mong i-achieve para makapasa ka sa subject na ito. So first topic in Business Math is the fundamental operations on fractions, decimals, and percentage. So ano ba yung kailangan nyo gawin? You have to perform fundamental operations on fractions and decimals. For sure, napag-aralan nyo na ito sa elementary. So basically, magiging review itong subject na ito sa topic na yan. Next is you have to express fractions to decimals and percent forms and vice versa. Now, kailangan nyo gawin ito because this is very important when we talk about business. Another is you illustrate how decimals and fractions can be written in terms of percent. Now, pinag-uusapan talaga yung fractions and percent because you are going to use that one in business. Now, give real-life situations to illustrate fractions, decimals, and percent. Another is you have to solve problems involving fractions, decimals, and percent. So basically, yung first few lessons sa Business Math is just about the basic arithmetic operations na kailangan sa business. Next is we have ratio and proportion. So for this topic, you're going to compare and differentiate ratio and rate. Write proportions illustrating real-life situations. So yung mga proportions nyo, kailangan yung i-review. Another is you have to identify the different kinds of proportion and give examples for each. Now, ratio and proportion is another important concept or important lesson when we talk about business. So you have to review about that. For ratio and proportion, you also need to solve problems involving direct and inverse proportions. Next topic is of course, since you are talking about business math, mayroon talaga kayong buying and selling. So as a student, you'll be required to differentiate what is mark on, mark down, and mark up when it comes to buying and selling. So as early as now, you read about that, you review about that. Next is you have to illustrate how mark on, mark down, and mark up are obtained. Next, you have to describe how gross margins is used in sales. So for this competency, tatalakayin nyo kung paano ba ginagamit yung gross margins in sales. You also need to differentiate profit from loss. So as early as now, read what is profit, read what is loss. So you have to differentiate the meaning of the two terms. Now, as an ABM student, you also need to illustrate how profit is obtained and how to avoid loss in a given transaction. So, paano ba nakukuha yung ating profit and paano ba in a specific situation, paano ba nakakakuha ng loss sa isang business transaction. Another topic still, sa buying and selling, you have to define what is break-even, illustrate how to determine break-even point. So, ano ba yung break-even na yan when it comes to buying and selling? So you also need to solve problems involving buying and selling products. You also have to illustrate how interest is computed, specifically as applied to mortgage, amortization, and on services, utilities, and on deposits and loans. As an ABM student, you also need to illustrate the different types of commission. So as early as now, you Google what are the different types of commission na ginagamit sa buying and selling or sa business. And of course, you have to solve problems involving interest and commission. So, hindi talaga nawawala yung ating mga problem solving. Another topic in business math is the salaries and wages. So, ano ba yung kailangan nyo gawin for this topic for you to be able to pass? Number one, you have to define what is salary, what is wage, what is income, and what is benefit or benefits. You have to compute gross and net earnings. So, tuturuan kayo kung paano mag-compute ng gross at net earnings. So, if you can, you advance study about this topic. Another is you'll be asked to enumerate the benefits of a wage earner. So, ano ba yung mga benefits ng isang wage earner? You have to distinguish taxable from non-taxable benefits. So, you have to identify kung ano ba yung mga taxable benefits or from non-taxable benefits. You also need to enumerate the standard deductions with the corresponding computation. So, ano ba yung standard deduction na kailangan gawin when it comes to taxable benefits and non-taxable benefits? Next topic is still under salaries and wages. You need to identify the variables needed in the computation of the overtime pay of a specific person. Another is you have to compute overtime pay of a certain employee. Of course, tuturuan kayo kung paano i-compute yan. But if I were you, I'll make sure na mayroon akong idea dito before enrolling in ABM. Now, you have to use e-spreadsheet in the computation of salary and overtime pay. So, ano ba yung e-spreadsheet? This is, for example, an electronic spreadsheet like an Excel para gumamit kayo niyan para mas madali yung computation nyo sa salary and overtime pay. Now, you have to present graphical representation of the details or particulars of the salary. So, when we talk about present graphical representation, for sure, i-graph or i-draw ninyo itong particulars of the salary. Next topic is on presentation and analysis of business data. Now, for this topic, you are going to show samples of business data. Ano ba yung mga business data na kailangan nyong pag-aralan? You have to compare the forms of data. For example, the textual form of data, the tabular form, and graphical form. So this is very important when we talk about business because mas madaling makita yung mga data or mas madaling i-analyze yung data if gumagamit kayo ng mga different forms. Now, in business math, you also need to identify the essential parts of a table and draw the table to represent the data. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, di ba? If your data is in tabular form, for sure, madali siyang i-analyze. And for sure, hindi ka mahihirapan sa business lessons ninyo. Another is you have to analyze and interpret the data presented in the table using measures of central tendency and variability and tests of significant differences. So, kailangan nyo pag-aralan yung measures of central tendency. Hindi lang dapat ilagay yung data sa table, dapat i-analyze din siya. So, yun yung gagawin nyo sa business math. You also need to describe the different kinds of graphs for data presentation. So, ano ba yung mga different kinds of graph? Pwede natin pie graph, bar graph, line graph, yung mga ganon. So, in presentation analysis of business data, you also need to describe the essential parts of a graph. Ano ba yung pinaka-importanteng part ng isang graph? Or ano ba yung mga parts ng graph? You also give set of business data, identify the graphs to be used. So, for example, may business data na ipapresent. So, you need to identify kung ano ba yung tamang graph na gagamitin para sa business data na yan for you to be able to analyze it properly. Next is you have to analyze and interpret the data presented in the graph. Yun nga yung sinabi ko. And of course, you have to use software such as the MS Excel programs to compute and present graphical representations of business data. Now, in business, you really need to incorporate ICT or yung paggamit ng ating mga electronic spreadsheet para mas madali nyong i-compute or para mas madali kayong makapag-analyze ng inyong mga business data. So, you have to learn about that. So, basically, yun yung pag-uusapan nyo sa specialized subject ng ABM na tinatawag nating business math. As you have observed and learned, wala namang masyadong advanced mathematical concepts ang pag-uusapan sa specialized subject na to. But make sure you study the basic arithmetic or mathematical operations na kailangan sa business. By the way, if you're still looking for other ABM videos tulad nito, you can check out this video and this video. And please subscribe to my channel by clicking this icon right here and click the subscribe button. I hope you learned from this video para makapag-advance study kayo sa business math. If you have other questions, just comment it below para mapag-usapan natin. This has been your friend, Sir Marky. Thank you very much for watching. Laban lang!